Good Erev Rosh Hashanah. Who could have imagined we could find a moment to reflect on celebrating the birthday of Tzemach Tzedek and my son Tzemach Yisrael. So I'm all excited about that. The Tzemach, the sprouting forth of the redemption. It's one of the names of Moshiach is Tzemach. It says, Ish Tzemach Shmai. A man, his name is Tzemach. As we say in HaShana Rabbah, which is coming up. A lot of other holidays. And he's called Tzedek, V'haya Tzedek Azer, Masnav. He's called righteous because he girds himself with righteousness. I referenced a Malbim on this verse. Welcome. Thank you. I owe you a l'chaim, Bli Nader. Now I did Hataras Nadarm, everything's Bli Nader, or BN for short, or Bun. Shem Bun. So, I always loved the Malbim. I think he is the most romantic of all the commentaries. He has a competition with Rashi on the commentary on Shir Shirim, Song of Songs. One, Rashi says it's a remembrance of former times of when we had a good relationship, me and God. And the Malbim, this story of this incarceration and forced marriage, and therefore the whole song of Shir Shirim to Malbim is this maiden who escapes the citadel. Welcome, Marcus. She escapes the citadel to be with the shepherd of the universe, the shepherd boy. So the verse quoted here as the name of Moshiach, who we're celebrating tonight, the Tzemach Tzedek, the third Lubavitcher Rebbe, and my son who's named after him in a sense, Tzemach Yisrael, also the Baal Shem Tov. The Rebbe points out this is the name of Moshiach, so I thought it would be cool to look up the verse, which I did. I'm going to read you the English translation. Justice shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his waist. So you have two things that are associated with a very intimate garment, and that is justice and faithfulness. So Malbim discusses what each is, what it means. And it's beautiful, as usual. V'haya tzedek, I hope I can translate this on the fly. Mitzayer ki hatzedek ve'amuna, these two things, this righteousness and then faithfulness that's attributed to the Messiah, lo yiyu etzlei kinyan chitzayni. It shouldn't be something that he possesses in a very superficial way. Rak Azer hadabuk al Masnav. But rather, like a girdle, they translate here, that cleaves to his loins, and garments that are very connected with his body. So it's not something external, like you would have a possession that's not part of you. It's something that you wear. So therefore, it's talking about a relationship of righteousness and faithfulness to something that's very close to you. That's the point here. So too, in this person or in this mahalach, that sort of this mindset that takes over the world, because I think they're one and the same thing. The fact that we're expecting a king to be a human being, a mortal being that takes the throne in the Holy Land, etc. It's the embodiment of an idea or something that becomes important to the world. Here we're describing that force, two aspects of it which are descriptive of what it is. It's called righteousness and faithfulness. It's something that's dvukim by davuk atzmi. It's something that's very connected to the person. Lo yisparedu memenu b'shum pam. Never leaving the person. K'moish kasev ki kasher yidbak ha'ezer a masnei ish v'chuli Yirmiyahu Yud Gimel Yud Aleph. It says just like the girdle cleaves to the loins of a person. It's a verse in Jeremiah. V'dama es tzedek le'ezer masnav shu achager shal b'gadav. So this is likened to righteousness. Ken tzedek shehu bein adam l'chavere. So too is the righteousness that becomes descriptive of redemption of humanity, is a righteousness that is between Adam Lechaveri, a person and his friend, Nira Lechol. This will be obvious to everybody, just like it's obvious that you're wearing a Speedo. I don't know, you translate the word girdle in words that you understand. It's your underwear. What does this have to do with Rosh Hashanah? This is descriptive of something. You finally come in alone with the king after Elul. You've been in the field with the king. Elul, the month that this was now summing itself up very quickly before our eyes, and becoming Tishrei, which is a time of entering the king's palace, where it's a process of going from Rosh Hashanah. You accept Hashem as your king, and you go all the way to Yom Kippur. It's Kadosh HaKodashim, the Holy of Holies. So that type of relationship we're describing here as something that's symptomatic of what Moshiach introduces to the world. Two things, if you remember, tzedek and emunah. Righteousness and faithfulness. We're saying now righteousness means between people. So he brings people to have authentic relationships. And it will be obvious to everyone to have authentic relationships. Ve'emunah asher Hu bein adam lamakim, and faith that now is talking about between the person and God, because it's part of the same conversation. Dama Azer, that faith is like a girdle, shetachas bagada, which is beneath one's clothes. Asher lo Yisrael rak la'ish haleiv shelevadei. Welcome. We're speaking about a very incredible verse in Isaiah. It says, it describes Moshiach as someone who is righteousness that becomes his garments. Okay, righteousness and faithfulness, the most intimate garments, the girdle. Okay, Azer in Hebrew, Azer. So Malbim, this commentary that tackles this interesting verse, describing Moshiach, explaining what it means that when you talk about righteousness, it's something that's very intimate, that people should actually treat each other with dignity and respect. So that's what's called Bein Adam Lechavere. Faithfulness now is something between you and God. So that's faith-based is between you and welcome. Tracy, good to see you. Okay, I'm cracking a beer. You convinced me. We're doing a Malbim on Isaiah, describing Moshiach as Tzemach Tzedek is the name of Moshiach. Tzedek is described in Isaiah 11:5. L'chaim. Wait for it. Okay, it's Rosh Hashanah. No, I'm not going to go in like a guy trembling. We're all prepared. Chas v'shalom, not to go in there prepared like a king, celebrating Rosh Hashanah as the victory. That's why you're wearing your Shabbos clothes. L'chaim. Elul is doing the work. Now it's obvious to be in awe of the king when you're before him. Before it was it's an effort. He's in the field. He's dressed like you. Now you dress like him in your Shabbos finery. Go in there ready to rock this year. Tafshin Pei Beis. I have the sources of what we could expect in place the kol. Wonders in everything, not just in the those who God chooses to show us, which is in Pei Aleph, but in everything and everyone, l'chaim. That is awesome. Thank you, Tracy. L'chaim. It's wonderful to have everybody who hears this is in my opinion, like anytime you connect with somebody, there's a purpose. There's a purpose for that, l'chaim. The purpose is always to bring each other a little bit more uplifted. So here we're saying righteousness is have good relationships. Faith is bein adam lamakan dama le'ezer. Why is that likened to the girdle le'ezer shetachas b'godav? You want to be on video? That is so cool. But you can't say anything that's not like Jewish. Hello. Are you coming? Oh, it's not working. Oh, it's adding. It's working. Fine. I just want to finish this parish. If you can listen through this, that proves that you are going to only bring light to the Rosh Hashanah. Fine. So you have two things. You have righteousness to bring people to treat each other as with respect and in love. And you have a relationship with your creator that's also described as an Azer, shetachas begadav, which is an intimately worn garment. The only person who sees this garment is yourself. Because you're going to have a relationship with God that transcends what others can see. People can only see so much of what your authenticity is. But you have an authenticity that is answerable only to the one creator himself, your Godhead. The part of you that said, beam me down. Do they beam down? I think they must beam down. If they beam up, beam me up. They're always saying, beam me up. Beam me down? Did they ever say beam me down? My father maybe watched that. I couldn't understand why the guy's hair was like, had to be so pointy. It's a bit scary looking one. And to match his ears, going the other way. Okay. Yeah, it's an idea. So, in what sense do you have a relationship that's described as Azer, an intimate garment? Because your authenticity, it goes way deeper than anyone else could possibly see. Because this is the condition or the description of true emunah, true faith, that what's deep, what's left that's not uncovered is deeper than what meets the eye on the outside. You think you see someone that's worthy, look much deeper and find something that is completely private between you and God. Okay. That's one thing. One other thing before I get back to the year Tafshin Pei base that we're entering in, which I think is important to speak about. Thank you. The hairdo, I had to fix it. I got, when you get really, you say to yourself, my hair is a little too long, I'm going to try and do it myself, and then you regret it. So you pay the $13 to top it up. It gets more than 30. They advertise 13. That's if you don't have a good, carburetor on the system. Your rims are really schwach. They sell a car with rims as ugly as you can make them, so everyone has to get the upgrade. The Tesla 3. Look at the rims, the standard rims. It's like a joke they're marketing. Okay, so I have a really cool source here called Mashmiya Yeshua that brings this verse. And he's totally ecstatic about Moshiach. Mashmiya Yeshua, the 16th herald, David. What's a herald have to do with the 16th herald? Is that like some fancy way of saying chapter? I don't know. But Ken Mizmor Ein Beis, Lishleim Elikim Mishpatach Lemalach 10. To King Solomon, the verse says, the Lord has given his sentence to the king. Mishpatacha, your sentence, lemelech, to the king. Ein safek atzli shneimar lemelech Moshiach. I'm certain that this is talking about the Messiah. Im shekina eisei b'shem shleimai. If Moshiach is called King Solomon here, lefi sheshalom ve'emes yiyeh b'yamav. Just like Shleimai, who had peace in his times, Moshiach is meant to bring peace to the world. If we're going to say that this verse meant Shlomo, maybe it's talking about Shlomo himself, that would be a logical thing to conclude. And these words that he's going to be granted, the sentence, mishpatacho, the justice, will be given to the king. It says, another verse says, that his righteousness will be to the son of the king. Namar Amalch Mashiach. That's said about King Mashiach. Shehu Yeh ben Shlomo ben David. Now you found out why the Rambam had to say, not only is it from the Davidic line, but from the Solomon line. The Rebbe says it doesn't have to be genealogically understood. But that's a different point here. Here we're saying, in what sense are their character or what they introduce to the world, the thematic development of peace, because there's another stage. That's righteousness to the son of a king. So there's justice and there's righteousness. The righteousness is the development of King Solomon all the way to what spawned from him, which is the Messiah. Namar Melch Mashiach Shehu Yeh ben Shlomo ben David Yetze Mezara v'alav Amar Yadinamcho b'tzedek. Says he will judge your nation with righteousness. So the Tzemach Tzedek is the name we're still lecturing about, B'chaim. What is this righteousness? Before we said it meant ben Adam l'chaverei. That was the Malbim. Here we're saying that it's a type of peace. K'may she'amar Yishaya, which is the same thing, of course, ben Adam l'chaverei. That said to Yeshaya, v'haya tzedek Azer Masnav. As Malbim said, that he quotes this verse in Yeshaya, that righteousness will be the girds of his loins, meaning that it will be something. What did we say? We had said more. Oh, 1 second. Let's go back. It will never leave him. Never will it leave him. Just like, okay, that was the first interpretation. Well, the first part of the verse. The second part of the verse, it will be something that you won't be able to see. All his depths extend much beyond what you could see. It looks good outside, but it's much deeper inside. You just can't see there. So that's descriptive of this messianic force. Tzedek Ezer Masnav, the Yisu Harim Shalom La'am. He will raise up mountains, peace to his nation. Kihu Yeh Dever Shalom L'chol Hagayim, because he will speak peace to all nations. Shalom Nitzchi, eternal peace. K'may Shamar, v'Rav Shalom Ad Bli Yareach. An abundance of peace until there's no more moon. I know I messed up that translation, but it sounded a bit good. Ad Bli Yareach, until there's no more moon. V'alav Amar v'yered miyam ad yam, and he's going to rule from one side of the sea to the other. K'maimer Zachariah Hanavi, mashal miyam ad yam. Why is it said from sea to sea? Ki al shma yadua shala yitzdak zeh hamaimer. V'ken lefanav yikru tziyim v'oivav afar yelachechu v'yishtachavu lo'kol malachim. Everyone will be bow down to him. This was not fulfilled, however, in the times of King Solomon. I guess they didn't, I don't really understand that. I thought that was fulfilled. Maybe it's the first part of the verse more. It says, Tziyim, L'fanav Yikru Tziyim, they will bow down, and the enemies, Afar Yelachechu, will lick at the dust, at his dust. And then it says all the kings will bow down to him. This was not fulfilled in the times of Shlomo, but it will be fulfilled in the times of Moshiach. So he's going to save the people from their exile. And it goes on and on. Okay, then he speaks niflois. Okay, that's important. We're expecting nun plois. When you hit 50, you have to expect in the year of plois arenu, the year is still not over. We have a little bit of time. Spectacular things can happen with one l'chaim. Consider last week was the year of wrath. What is this year? I'm getting there. Okay, okay, I'll turn off the Mashmiya Yeshua that we were doing. Let's turn that off for a second. And we'll try to do a little of this. I hope I got the time right in my head, which I don't. So, we spoke a lot of this stuff. I don't know if I want to go over it or it'll take me way too long. But let's just jump into what the year is all about. Here. I think Plois Arenu is a personal thing. The reason why I think that is because what I'm going to tell you now about the coming year. What the Rabbi predicted is this 30-year repetition of the type of transformation, but now in a complete way because it can ad masai. Figured you would, but didn't want to miss it. Why is it getting really late? I think it is. Crime. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going on the fact that we've had this, the Hey Tavis Tafshinun Aleph Sicho, the Rebbe said, we have this 30-year repetition. One's niflois, one's plois areno. So here I'm just going on what's the completion of that? What's the next step? So that's why I think this is relevant. The way that you give an acronym for the year, starting from the year 1990, Tafshin Nun, we interpret an acronym to mean this will be the year of wonders, the Rebbe said. And we saw miraculous things. We had a massive war and nobody was killed. I guess the Persian Gulf War. So the fifth letter, so in 1990, you only had 4 digits, or the letter equivalent, and here you add another decibel, and we go from the aleph, which we just went through, to the base, which is Rosh Hashanah ba. In it, what's that mean? Shani flois einam einyan prapti b'hashana. That the miracles are not something that's particularized or cordoned off to some elite group of people or an elite state of attaining, but rather this is descriptive of the entire year. in everything, sheniflois ham b'kol hanyanim kulam, that the wonders are going to be in everything. There are people who experience wonders this year, tremendous transformation. Despite all the fear and dread, they managed to succeed and make themselves more than they were a year ago. Those people saw ploy serenu in the year. I hope every single person, l'chaim, can say, I saw ploys in my life. I saw wonders in my life. If you found that it's lacking in some areas, don't stop in Tafshin Pei Aleph. Make it to the Rosh Hashanah's base, which is B'kol, in everything, that it becomes miraculous. That kind of transformation and success and victory should be seen in every area. Everything, it should be miraculous. B'kol makol kol, the Gam Rosh Hashanah's Bina, also, the base, the blessed base, is also Bina, Baruch ben Bina. Bina is understanding. Shani flois hem ba'ifin shel rachavas hanar. The nun flois is the nun shara Bina, the ultimate understanding. The miracles of understanding is a way of the expanse of the river. Hanar, the breadth of the river. I don't know if it means breadth or width. I think it means, how do you say how far it goes? That's probably what it means. V'chayvais usually means racha, means width, but I don't know if it means that. The ultimate miracle is something called geula, redemption. As it says, why do we say that niflois, wonders, means redemption? Because that word was used to describe the exodus from Egypt. Sheba yiru, and it's promised that the ultimate exodus, the redemption, is going to be something that's going to resemble the exodus from Egypt. But okay, the Rabbi says in other places that it's going to make those look like nothing, like miracles in comparison to those miracles. Sheba yiru eranu b'peo u'begilu hashleimus shehifla ayidei ma'aseinu v'asinu v'mashech shisal feshanin tehave alma. That then will be revealed the sum total of all the efforts of all the generations for the 6,000 years that the world exists. B'isaf al hashleimus shebeschilos habriya, to add something to the way the perfection that was in the world when it was first created. Perfection can be improved on. It's when you put the mortal, fallible element into perfection and stumble and eat anything. He ate anything but the apple. Tonight we're going to eat a pomegranate and several other passion fruits and dragon whatever's. Incredible fruit. Oh no, that's tomorrow night. Sorry. Get you too excited. We're eating just the apple tonight with the honey and probably a fish head. Then in addition to the perfection that the world was created with, completely with everything in it, Ella teldes mala shamayim va'aretz v'boram. It says these are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created. When it says teldes with regard, it says the generations with regard to creation of the heavens and the earth. It says with vavs in it, extra letters. Tia shleimus de'ela teldes mala peretz. Then you'll see the completion of these are the generations of peretz, and then generations is also mala, with vavs in it, ba'ifin shel pritzatz geder, in a way that breaks on through to the other side, breaking through the barrier. Pritzatz halacha peretz, no, paratzta halacha peretz, it says about the descendant from Judah, was from Peretz, to have the Davidic line go through him, from Peretz, because Peretz means to break on through. Moshiach, which is the force of Moshiach, Shenemar, Allah HaPeretz Lifnehem. that it says that the one who breaches goes up within you. Think about what that means. I'm reading articles about what's happening to people because of their exposure to the internet, the infinite possibilities of the internet. There's this breach that is only saying one thing, that our relationships suck. If there's such a breach, then we don't have good relationships. So work on the relationship to fix that, and everything else falls into place. It's not natural to want to harm your best relationships, your most important relationships. It's not natural to want to do that, and that's what it ends up doing. I posted something on one of my pages. I think woke Jewish. I think that's the coolest page I have, and that's my signature. Woke Jewish. I made it a modeh ani slant and a lot of like progressive, spiritually aligned ideas. What time are we going to today? Oh my goodness, I forgot. I'm almost done. We're getting to nun ploys. I love the 50 ploys. Nun ploys, the neat ploys is the nun ploys, the Rebbe says. Okay, that's really cool. We're getting there. Just very quickly, I don't know, I think I have about 8 minutes. Oh, thank you. I think that's the most important topic you could possibly speak about. I should stay on that. I should speak about nothing but that. And I think that would be worthy of every moment. If that's what's destroying our entire psyche, then I should speak about that every day. Okay. In this year, B'chol, when you go to Tafshin Pei base in this case, or then it was Nun base, Kelo Kol Nyan Teva V'Shleimus Hasharius Kamuv Marizal. It includes all aspects of perfection and utopia that our sages teach us. Shleishet Imam Hakadosh Baruch Ba'Elam Hazeh Mein Olam Haba. There were 3 people who experienced the treasure, and they had a preview experience of that, of their world to come while they were still alive in this world. Eluhein, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, our forefathers. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Abraham, Diksiv Bei Bechol, Hashem Barachas Abraham Bechol, Yitzchak Diksiv Bei Mikol, Va'echel Mikol, Yaakov Diksiv Bei Bechol, the Kiyesh Li Kol. He says, I have everything, Yaakov says. Hainu Kol Meireh, Lei Shalom Chasr Shem Teva. So the word in everything, the word that becomes the emblem of this year, that is not just for specific people, the Ploi Serenu. It's not just for specific people that saw victory in their year, but it's in everything. That no one will be lacking any good at all. Both with respect to all completion as the whole world is created for, that perfect, and that which is added to that perfection, this natural organic state of perfection, is what humanity can contribute to that and bring it to a higher level of perfection. To the point that you complete all of your efforts required for the whole narrative that was inscribed in the world. To, if you know that you're part of a story, and this, you know the outcome of the story, then you live with that outcome right away. So Geula is like this promise that knowing that it's going to happen makes it happen. And it actually affects your past because it gives meaning to all of your efforts beforehand, because you couldn't have achieved that recognition until you had all that experience. Your soul I'm talking about. Me'eino Elam Haba Ba'elam Haza, experiencing that in advance while this world is going on as is. And every single Jew has this power and virtue of their deriving from these three forefathers, including Gary, of course. They also take from that spiritual force that comes from these three forefathers. One more paragraph. Understanding that we said before, the word Tafshin Pei base, the acronym of this year, the base of it also means Bina, understanding. Bina. Understanding as it relates to miracles, wonders. Nun ploys, 50 miracles. Meira al Gilu the Shar Hanun the Bina. This shows on the 50th gate of understanding, the highest level, the Shar Nun, the Har Nevai, Nun Bai of Moshe. Besium Bigmar HaVayda B'Tachlis Hashem is after all of our efforts have been completed. Kafi Shematzina B'Maisa Rabbeinu Shegmar B'Sim of Dasai. Kashe V'Yelech Moshe Ben Me'av Esim Shana Anechi Ayay Nisalva L'Har Nevai Nun Bai. Moshe went up at the end of his perfection of his 120 years. He went to the Shar Nun Bai. There's 50 within it. Be'ena Reich L'Shlemus Abriya Ba'ifin Chamishin Chasa Alam Achas. So we have a 7x7 cycle equals 49. When you bring one step of perfection higher that only God can give, when you reach the Jubilee, the Nun Boy, the Har Navai, that's when Moshe, the only way he reached the Shar Nun was when he was going on to his next phase of life. But that's not so of what we're speaking about here is that somehow the force of Moshe Rabbeinu that didn't make it into the Holy Land, he wasn't able, because there was meant to be a narrative. That would have been the end of history. We would have lived happily ever after right then. So since we were meant to have a more of a journey through history, everything happened. But the perfection of that is when you're finally able to withstand the Shar Nun, the 50th gate of understanding, which is understanding that your simple everyday thought is connected with the very essence of the creator of your entire world. That's basically everything. So, okay, I think we accomplished something. I hope the time was right, like in terms of, I hope you didn't spill the gefilte fish everywhere in a panic, because I'm taking you away from it. But l'chaim v'bracha, maybe I could squeeze one more l'chaim out of this bottle. Okay, so yeah, the shofar, it's all about the shofar tomorrow. Cry out from your heart. I prepared you enough, and you prepared yourself. I'm sure much more on your own. And we've prepared ourselves together. And I think that's the way it should be. In Rosh Hashanah, you recognize who am I standing with to before God. It's the people that are around me, people in my shul, the people in my community. This is the crew that we're facing everything together. And for a successful, blessed year for everybody. And David ben Masaidi have a full shleim l'chaim. L'chaim to everyone, and for a geula, a year, and everything. It shouldn't be something reserved for the elite, but every single person should experience the ultimate redemption in every single aspect of their life. L'chaim, Tracy. L'chaim, everyone, for coming. And good Gebench Yar, Siva Teva, L'shana Teva, and the Sukkah.